Handing back to the chair.
Thank you,
I've got further questions.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you. Before I start my questions, I have an apology. I made an error, Mr. Anderson. You did, in fact, reply to my question and notice last time about the curriculum, but you didn't state specifically from where you got it in the curriculum. So that's
okay. Certainly, Senator.
But you've undertaken to come back with that this time.
I have, and I still will.
Thank you. Now, I tabled a screenshot of a tweet from the ABC Media Watch Twitter account. It was in response to a tweet I made about...
Sorry, Senator Roberts, just to clarify, that wasn't tabled, it was circulated.
Oh, circulated. Okay, sorry.
Just to be clear.
Thank you. It was made about a protest in front of Parliament House here, the Let Women Speak movement. Do you know what happened to that tweet? Why it was removed?
No, I do not, Senator.
It was deleted about a second after that screenshot was taken. Do you have any information on why it was deleted?
No, I don't, Senator.
Could we have that information, please? I
will investigate and respond to you.
Do you keep logs of tweets and deleted tweets?
We don't keep... we don't monitor people's personal use of social media because we don't take legal or editorial responsibility for it. That was a change that we made some time ago, which I've canvassed heavily here. So no, we don't keep a log of it. There's certainly records when things are raised to our attention and we do investigate and disciplinary action is taken, then yes, that is recorded.
This is not a personal account. It looks like it's a Media Watch account, at ABC Media Watch.
Yep, which as an official ABC account, again, I will investigate.
Okay, thank you. I'm just concerned that the ABC is sending tweets which could be considered antagonistic to a sitting senator and then deleting it like nothing happened. That doesn't bode well for accountability. If that screenshot wasn't taken and I couldn't table it, people would rightly question me for trying to talk about this with you now. Social media seems to be a real ongoing problem for the ABC, not just from your journalists, but even your official accounts. So what are you going to do to get this under control?
Senator, again, the vast majority of staff do the right thing. We have been getting it under control. People have been disciplined for this. For those people who have gone against the code and found to be in breach, they have had disciplinary action against them. We're now up to individuals that have been terminated from the ABC as a result of their personal use of social media. I do think, again, the vast majority, that's personal use of social media. This appears to be an official ABC social media account, subject to our ABC social media policy with regard to that, which we do take, if it is, we do take editorial responsibility for which we have very few problems, I will say, Senator. So I will investigate and come back to you.
Okay, it's been raised quite a bit, social media. Moving on to another issue, there have been reports that the ABC has never received more complaints about a show than you did for the King's coronation coverage. Can you confirm that?
That is incorrect. We have received more complaints than that in the past. I would hasten to give examples because they're sometimes not great moments in ABC history, but they go back some way. It's certainly in recent times, it is one of the larger amount of complaints, yes.
What is the total number of complaints that you received on that?
I believe it's around 1,800 at the moment, of which I gave evidence earlier to say approximately 60 are editorial complaints being investigated by the Ombudsman, some complaints categorised in a different way, and of course some of it is outright racism.
So while I didn't watch the coronation, I'm just wondering why Australians are interested in the coronation, interested in the pomp and ceremony, if that's what they want, who's arriving and all of the proceedings, etc., what a show it is, turn on the ABC to watch the coronation and find inserted into that live coverage commentaries about Indigenous rights and the proposal for a voice to Parliament for Indigenous people. What was the aim and the thought process in structuring your coverage like that?
Senator, I'll defer to Mr Stevens who wants to respond.
Senator, I note you said you didn't see the coverage, so I'm happy to give you a bit more information about what we did cover, and it was 8 hours of coverage over the course of the evening from 4 p.m. onwards. The official ceremony itself started at 8 p.m. Sydney time, and so we had 4 hours of coverage leading into the ceremony proper starting. We used the BBC commentary for the actual formal proceedings of the event itself from 8 p.m. onwards. That was a concerted decision because we knew that the BBC would have access to information that we weren't privy to around the order of proceedings and the extra additional historical detail behind those order of proceedings. We obviously had a broad picture of what would happen when, however, not that level of detail that they had, and obviously they've got knowledge of individuals in the Abbey that we didn't have. And so for the course of the 4 hours leading into it commencing, we from time to time showed vision of what was unfolding in the lead-up. So 3 to 4 hours out, can you believe people were being led into the Abbey in terms of guests, and we were showing that visually, and there was music as well. And so the presenters did a really good job of trying to navigate saying what was unfolding with that vision. That's a key tenet of good TV, to say what's happening. But then to return to the discussions, we wanted to have 3 to 4 hours out of the ceremony itself starting.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, and I thank you for the explanation. It makes perfect sense, and what you're saying about making good TV makes perfect sense. But it still comes in that some of the chatter around the presentation was dealing with things like the Indigenous rights and a voice proposal to Parliament, etc.
So,
is that appropriate?
So, Senator, for a portion of the coverage, for about 40 minutes, we had a really important discussion about our history. And we aired First Nations perspectives of that and colonisation and their view and experience of the Crown in their lives. That was 40 minutes of 8 hours of coverage. And actually, a really important part and remit of the ABC, as you know, is to have discussions which are in the national interest, that reflect on history, that are factually based on history. And it's very, very important in our coverage of the news and major events that over the course of that coverage we have a diversity of perspectives. And so that was a 40-minute discussion for which there's been a lot of attention. However, we had a multitude of guests over the course of the 8 hours and people speaking to the events itself.
Okay. Do you still think your coverage was impartial that way?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, before we finish, what's my commitment to you to get you an understanding of why you're biased on climate change, for example? That's what I undertook to do?
You did. You undertook to provide evidence of non-fact-based reporting of climate change.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.